Hello, everybody, and welcome here on the Hyannis Harbor Digital Network. If you just so happen to have tuned in right now, we're about 15 minutes out, but I'm going to get on a little bit early today to just get you ready for today's Western Division matchup between the Bourne Braves and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Should be a good one. The Harbor Hawks dropped two of the two games they played in the last series against the Braves, but revenge is in the air, and we'll see if the Harbor Hawks can pull out the win tonight. I'll be back on air probably in about 5 minutes, so hang tight and enjoy the broadcast. Welcome on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. We're coming in a little bit hot. Move that down a little bit for you. There we go. So, welcome on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. We're here down in Bourne in Durand Park, where your Hyannis Harbor Hawks take on the Bourne Braves in their third game of this season series. I'm Chris Lucy. We're just down here by the first base side. Players have yet to take the field, and soon, about 6 o'clock, we'll have first pitch and baseball down here in Bourne. It's been a mixed bag over the last couple days for the Harbor Hawks, as the offense is really just explosive until it wasn't. In the 4 games leading up to last night's loss against Wareham, the Harbor Hawks had scored 29 runs. And last night, they could only muster 1 in a 5-1 loss to the Wareham Gatemen that dropped Hyannis below the Gatemen all the way to the bottom of the Western Division standings. They come out here against the first-place Bourne Braves, who are also coming off of a loss last night, another rough one against the Chatham A's. It was down in Veterans Park, and just a very tough loss for the Braves, as now that brings their win streak to an end. They're now 6-4 over their last 10. They were playing a little bit better than that going into that game, but Chatham, as they've been on and off over the early goings here in the CCBL season, Hyannis able to beat them in 3 straight games, and they just got the better of the Braves last night due to timely hitting and the Braves' bats going silent as well. But we'll be right back after we sing the national anthem here down at Durand Park in Bourne. Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Bourne Braves about to get underway, so stick around.
He plays baseball as well as enjoys playing soccer and inspires to write a book. Fans, Cape Cod 5 is an independent state-chartered savings bank with over $3 billion in assets.
Welcome back to Durand Park. Chris Lucy joining you, where the Hyannis Harbor Hawks at 5-7-1 take on the Bourne Braves at 7-5. It's a matchup of the bottom and top of the Western Division.
Investment management and trust services.
Chris Lucy joining you here down the first base side. Hyannis, coming off of a 2-game win streak last night, went down to Wareham, and their offense ground to a halt, and the pitching staff just continued to struggle as they saw their ERA balloon to 4.91 last night on the year, and the team batting average dropped 8 points. It's still at a harsh 281 clip, really scorching other teams. But at the moment, the Harbor Hawks just debilitated on offense, as Hunter Stovall went 0 for 3. Jake Mangum was able to scrape together a 1 for 3 night, but otherwise, it was really just a tough day for the Harbor Hawks. And Reese Hampton, he's been hitting upwards of 400 over the Cape Cod season, was only able to muster a 1 for 4, which isn't bad, but you know, the Harbor Hawks have been relying on him for a lot more than that over the bulk of this season, which shows maybe they're just putting too much pressure on any given part of their team. The Harbor Hawks will come up to start things off here. in the top of the first between the Bourne Braves and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Jake Mangum, the left fielder, a senior at Mississippi State, leading off. Reese Hampton, the sophomore from Charlotte, playing center field in the 2 spot. Micah Coffey, the Minnesota third baseman, he will be playing third and batting third as well. Hunter Stovall in the cleanup spot. Again, he's a junior at Mississippi State, will be playing second base. Daniel Robinson in the 5-hole, DHing and cleanup. He's a senior at Central Michigan. Robert Newstrom coming out there as well. He's out of Iowa. He's the right fielder and junior playing right field and batting 6th. In the 7th spot, Ryan Olenek, the junior from Ole Miss, playing first base. In the 8th spot, Ford Proctor, the junior out of Rice, at second base. And rounding things up in the 9th spot is Chris Proctor, the catcher out of Duke. He's going into his junior year this year. And they will start off against a foe that is familiar to... They'll start off against a foe that's a familiar face for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks pitcher today, Kyle Marmon, a junior out of Orlando, Florida. Most notably out of Florida Atlantic University, where Nick Swan, the Harbor Hawks starting pitcher tonight, also plays his college baseball. Marmon had pretty impressive numbers down at Florida Atlantic this year. 31 strikeouts to only 12 walks, and opponents only batted .252 against him. He'll square up the Harbor Hawks. Lyle Lynn catching for him. Stephen Brickhouse playing first base. Spencer Brickhouse playing first base. At second is Grant Williams. Third base, Andrew Freejay. And Turner Brown rounding out the infield at shortstop as Jake Mangum steps up to the left-handed batter's box. Scott Schreiber out in left, the Nebraska senior. And first, Marmon comes to the set and deals. Strike one, breaking pitch on the inside corner. 0-1 count from the righty. From right to left in the outfield, Grant Witherspoon in right field. The 0-1. Slip foul behind home. Mangum behind 0-2. Again, Scott Schreiber in left. And rounding things off in center field is Jamison Hanna, the junior out of Dallas Baptist. Now Marmon sets and deals the 0-2. Swing and a miss. A high swing from Mangum at a high fastball, and there's one away. Harbor Hawks start things off with a strikeout, and now here's Reese Hampton. Hampton, again, someone who's just been red hot for the Harbor Hawks so far this year. 54 at-bats in 13 games, batting .407. He steps up to the left-hand side of the plate as well, the righty, with a curveball. Just missing the zone. Count 1-0. Dimensions to left, center, and right field. Not too bad. The 1-0. Called strike on the inside corner, or they are calling that a ball. Ball call from the home plate umpire, Chris Gooding. Sounded like a strike call, the 2-0. Slap foul, so that's a strike. That's 2-1. It's 330 out to left, 395 to dead center field, and out down the right field corner, it's 300 feet. Reese Hampton steps up and looks down the 2-1. Here it comes. He skies one high in the air. This one just towards the middle infield. Brown and Williams converge on it. Williams calls off Brown, and second baseman records the second out of the inning.
Now batting. The third baseman.
So two-way here in the top of the first, just underway from Durant Park. Hyannis and Bourne doing battle. Hyannis looking to fight their way out of the bottom of the Western Division against the leaders of the Western Division, the Bourne Braves. Mirroring records at 5-7 and 7-5 between these two teams. Coffey in the left-handed batter's box takes a breaking pitch inside. Micah in 29 at-bats in 8 games, batting .310. 9 hits on the year. The 1-0. Called strike on the outside corner. Fastball darting across the zone. You can expect that in the low 90s. Marmon also offers a changeup and a slider as well. The 1-1. At the knees inside. Count 2-1. Coffey out of Minnesota. Standing in the left-handed batter's box. The righty sets. and deals ball. 3-1 count now. Nobody on, 2 down, however. The Harbor Hawks recording 2 quick outs to start things off here in the top of the first. Still scoreless between them and the Braves. The 3-1. Clubbed in, sent high in the air towards left field. Schreiber and Hannah coming towards the ball, and it is a ground rule double, it looks like. They waved their hands up, but Micah Coffey continuing around the base paths. He'll continue to touch them all. No definitive ruling on whether or not it's a home run yet. However, Coffey down in the Hyannis Harbor Hawks dugout celebrating as if he's hit one out. The umpires, however, converging in the left side of the infield. Doug Isham, Chris Gooding, and Mark Chamberlain, the umpires. They're now just gathered right in front of shortstop. Micah Coffey ripping that one over towards the left center field area. Schreiber and Hannah immediately threw their hands up as I saw it clear the wall. It looked like a home run, but very short fences here in Bourne. That's something that is created a little bit of intrigue throughout the league, as those short fences just are breeding ground for ground rule doubles, and honestly something that could rob players of extra bases if they can get one to get out there. And we have a ruling. It looks like they're going to send Micah Coffey back to second base as Chad Gassman comes out to have a word with the 3 umpires. Doug Isham, the one putting up his 2 fingers to signal for a double. And now here's Micah Coffey coming out of the Hyannis dugout down the first base side.
Number 2 from Mississippi State University, Hunter Stovall.
So Hyannis has been proficient with 2 outs on the board. They were able to scrap together a 6-run 2-out rally against the Chatham A's in a doubleheader against them at McKeon Park on Sunday. And now here's Hunter Stovall. He comes up with a runner on second and Coffey. There on the ground rule double, and the first pitch is cut on and missed. Stovall behind 0-1. Hunter batting .273 on the season, the Mississippi State junior, playing second base today. 22 at-bats in 7 games. He, Tristan Barlow, and Jake Mangum came up a little bit later than their other Harbor Hawks teammates, as they were still in super regional play for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. And the next pitch comes over the outside corner for a strike. Now 0-2 on the second baseman. So Coffey's the only man on base. Got there with that double. Ground ruled with a little bit of intrigue. Now the 0-2. Curveball misses. Count 1-2. Stovall at the right side. The righty Marmon on the mound trying to make quick work of the Harbor Hawks in the first inning. He surrendered a hit already. And the 1-2, the 1-2 is high and tight. Count now 2-2. Home plate umpire confirming that it is indeed a 2-2. Chris Gooding, the man behind the plate. Scoreboard was a little bit lagging there. And here's the 2-2 now. Stovall flips it back behind home. We'll do the 2-2 over. Good crowd gathering out here in Bourne. Hyannis taking the field against the Bourne Braves in their away blues with orange sleeves, orange lettering, white trim on the lettering, and blue batting helmets. White pants, and the 2-2. A swing and a miss. Strike 3. Hunter Stovall goes down swinging to end things here in the top of the first. So Micah Coffey thought he had a home run, but the officiating crew here had other ideas. They sent him back to second base. And Hyannis wastes the only hit of the inning as now we go to the bottom of the first. Andrew Freejay, Grant Williams, and Scott Schreiber will get things going for the Bourne Braves when we get back against Nick Swan. Stick around. We're still tied at 0. We're back here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. If you missed the top of the first, you didn't miss much. Micah Coffey ripping a ground rule double, but Hyannis stranding him on base. It's still 0-0 from Durand Park. And now the Harborhawks take the field. Nick Swan, the man taking the mound. Left-hander, I should say, out of Florida Atlantic University. Pitched 2 2/3 inning on the year with a 10-12 ERA to his name. The taxed staff for the Harborhawks throwing the mainly reliever at Florida Atlantic out there on the mound today. He'll be throwing to Chris Proctor. Ryan Olynyk manning things at first base, the Ole Miss product. Down at second base is Hunter Stovall.
Leading off for the Braves, the third baseman, number 2.
Third base, Micah Coffey.
State University, Andrew Friedjay.
At shortstop is Ford Proctor. And from left to right field, Jake Mangum in left, Reese Hampton in center, and Robert Newstrom in right. Everything getting started now against Andrew Friedjay. The lefty comes to set against the righty. He moves to the plate. Low and inside, ball 1. Friedjay in 6 games and 20 at-bats. Only 2 hits, batting 100 on the year. The 1-0 from the lefty, a strike. Fastball on the outside corner. Expect that fastball to be mixed in with a curve and a change. Nick Swan to the set. 1-1 count. Here it comes. And the next pitch is golfed out into right field and deep. Robert Newstrom is, however, right there. He gloves it for out number 1. 1 away here in the bottom of the first, still knotted at 0 between the Bourne Braves and the Hyannis Harborhawks. And now here's Grant Williams. Williams leading the Braves in batting average this year with a scorching .364. 33 at-bats, 12 hits, 3 RBIs to his name, as well as a quartet of walks. So, good eye. And now Nick Swan squares him up. Lefty on lefty, the first pitch. Low and away, ball 1. Infield playing straight away. Micah Coffey, however, just creeping up on the grass. And the next pitch from Swan is a ball high and tight. Another fastball. Count now 2-0. Here's the pitch. And that's a called strike. Friedjay squaring up around a bunt, but sucked it back and took strike 1. Friedjay playing his college ball at Sam Houston. He's a junior. The 2-1. Called strike right at the knees. Another fastball evening the count. 1 away here in the bottom of the first, still scoreless. The 2-2. Clubbed up the middle and through for a base hit. Check that. That was actually Grant Williams at the plate. I completely whiffed there. However, he has a single.
Scott Schreiber.
And with 1 out, that brings up Scott Schreiber, who has just not only been scorching most of the league in 30 at-bats with a home run and 3 doubles, but it's been torching the Harborhawks. Batting .333 overall on the season, but really has done a number on Hyannis. He steps up to the right-hand side. Senior at Nebraska, the runner on first base. The first pitch from Swan, just a bit outside. Curveball missing. Count 1-0. So Schreiber, 5 for 10 against the Hawks on the year with 6 RBIs in only 3 games. High-scoring affairs between these two teams. And the 1-0 has to wait as Swan moves down to first. Keeps Grant Williams on, the second baseman out of Kennesaw State. Now he's back off the base, taking about a 2-step lead. Swan looks him back. 1-0 count on Scott Schreiber. The 1-0 pitch. Another fastball low and away. 2-0 count. Hyannis and Bourne knotted at 0 here from Durand Park. Still sunny out here. Lights have yet to come into play. The 2-0. Cut on and flipped foul behind home. Brings the count to 2-1. So Schreiber sure as heck can hit. Proved that with a .330 batting average and 51 RBIs in his college season at Nebraska. .870 on base plus slugging percentage as well, which is a metric that's become pretty popular. One of my favorites as well, as it just kind of literally combines on base percentage and slugging percentage. Nick Swan checked back over to first, but Grant Williams drawn back again. Ryan Olenek holding him on. 2-1 count on Schreiber. And Swan moves back again. Swan, a left-hander, out here in the bottom of the first. Pitching against a college teammate, actually. A very good friend of his, the 2-1. Hit on the ground over towards short. Ford Proctor, forehands, flips to Hunter Stovall, who fires on to first base to get an inning-ending double play. So chalk that up as a 4-6-3.
In the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, he Cape Cod Baseball League and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship.
In the end,
athletes, coaches,
Hyannis draws a 1-2-3 inning. Despite the hit by Grant Williams, nobody left on base, bringing us to the top of the second. 5, 6, and 7. Daniel Robinson, Robert Newstrom, and Ryan Olenek 2 up when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. So stick around. Welcome back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Kyle Marmon back out for another inning of work. The righty out of Florida Atlantic University, dueling with his college roommate on the Harbor Hawks. They both put up a 0 in the first, and now he has to keep it going against Daniel Robinson.
University, Daniel Robinson.
Let's go, Daniel. Robinson going into his sophomore year at Central Michigan University. Steps into the left-handed batter's box. And the first pitch from Marmon. Strike right over the heart of the plate. Searing fastball. Robinson in 39 plate appearances going into this game, batting .333. Takes low and inside, ball 1. Even count. So Kyle Marmon and Swan, roommates, the 1-1. Low and just a little inside. Count 2-1. Just a friendly competition between these two today. Nothing being wagered, as Nick Swan informed me before the game. The 2-1. Cut on and fouled down the first base line. Out of play. Count 2-2. Bragging rights, however, something always up for grabs in whatever kind of contest it is, whether it's one-on-one basketball or pitching out here in the CCBL. So the 2-2. Hit on the ground up towards the middle. Williams, forehands, has to throw across his body to get Robinson and can't make the throw inside. So the sophomore out of Central Michigan leads off the second inning with a hit. And brings up Robert Newstrom. Rob batting .364 on the season in 33 at-bats. Leading the Harbor Hawks in home runs with 2. He steps up to the left-handed batter's box with Robinson taking lead off of first base. Robinson already with 4 stolen bases on the year, so a threat to steal. First pitch from Marmon, high and outside. Newstrom going into his junior year at Iowa. Hawkeyes had a good season this year, winning the Big Ten tournament. Was a surprise, and they also shocked Houston in the first round of regional play. The 0-1, Robinson goes. Throw from behind the plate from Lynn is offline and hits Robinson as he slides in head first. He's safe and sends Brown tumbling up the middle. However, the shortstop is okay too, and Robinson steals a base. Bourne Braves out in the field with their white home jerseys, red caps, blue bills, red sleeves, and black stripes up the side. Ensemble completed with white pants and red lettering on the jerseys and a little red stripe down the pant leg as well. 1-1 count on Newstrom. Daniel Robinson now on second base with the steal. He led off this inning with a hit. And the next pitch is high and outside. Count now 2-1. That fastball that just missed, sitting in the low 90s. Top of the second, still scoreless down in Durand Park. Hyannis doing battle with the Bourne Braves. 2-1. Called strike. Nice slider. Just catching the inner part of the zone and brings the count to 2-2. The infield playing back on Newstrom because they know he's a power threat. 2 home runs leading the Harbor Hawks. Now the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Robert Newstrom goes down swinging in his first at-bat today. And there's one away for Ryan Olenek, the first baseman, a junior at Ole Miss. Olenek batting .310 on the year. 29 at-bats and 9 hits. Stands at the right side of the plate. And the first pitch is high and tight. Look out. Olenek barely getting out of the way of that pitch. The righty Marmon just missing with a breaking pitch. Looks back, the runner Robinson at second and deals to 1-0, and Olenek sends it high in the air in the infield. Second baseman Williams calls everybody off, charges in, and makes the play. 2 down here in the bottom of on the top of the second, and now here comes Ford Proctor. Proctor, a junior out of Rice, playing shortstop today. He steps up to the left-hand side of the plate. Robinson standing on second base. Got there with a steal, led off the inning with a single. And the next pitch, hit on the ground towards first. Brickhouse ranges over towards the line to make the play. Coming off the mound and covering to get out number 3 is Marmon. And just like that, the Harbor Hawks again waste a base runner. And now we go into the bottom of the second. Grant Witherspoon, Lyle Lynn, and Jared Triolo do up the 4, 5, and 6 when we get back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. We're still tied at 0 here in Durand Park. Welcome back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Chris Lucy joining you from Duran Park, where the Harbor Hawks and the Bourne Braves are still knotted at 0.
Leading off for the Braves,
Now
right
going
field,
into
22,
the bottom of the
from
second
Tulane
inning.
University, Grant Witherspoon.
Grant Witherspoon leading things off for the Braves. Nick Swan back out for inning number 2. Witherspoon, the right fielder, a junior at Tulane, as I said, stands at the left-handed batter's box, and the lefty deals a first pitch that is cut on and sent high over to shortstop. Ford Proctor, the only one near it, takes a step in and makes the play for the first out of the inning. And now here's Lyle Lynn catching today. He's going into his sophomore year at Arizona State University.
From Arizona State University, Lyle Lynn.
Lynn in 42 at-bats in 11 games this CCBL season, batting .262. The first ever Taiwanese-born player to play in the CCBL. And he takes the first pitch strike right down the heart of the plate. A 1 count on Lynn. Swan to the set again. Kicks and deals. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Lynn down early. So Lynn came to the United States just to play high school baseball at J. Sarah School down in California, and was a bit of an adjustment process, had to learn the language, but he's brought himself very far, and the 0-2 is nubbed on the ground down the first base side. Swan waits for it to go foul. It's still rolling, and as Lynn touches first base, they call it a hit. It stops dead right on the chalk line. Take what you can get. Lyle Lynn has a hit. With 1 out, there's a man on first base, and here's Jared Triolo. Designated hitter tonight out of Sam Houston. He's going into his sophomore year. Triolo batting .360, so second on the team in batting average and 25 at-bats. 9 hits. Steps up to the right-hand side with Lynn on first. Pitch. A strike outside corner. Swan making it work with the fastball. The lefty hasn't allowed a run yet, only 2 hits so far. However, it is only the bottom of the second. Still a blank score sheet out here in Bourne. Swan looks back to runner at first and moves over to first, where Lyle Lynn scurries back onto the bag. Wasn't taking much of a lead, but Swan taking no chances. Now the lefty sets again. Peers over his glove down to first base. And moves towards the plate. The 0-1 is skied high and foul down the first base line.
Get a coupon for a free Sunday at Friendly's.
So Lynn's over on first base. It was his birthday several days ago. He's become really part of the center of this team, a very gregarious character. And all he wanted to do was get some ice cream. Well, he got his wish. Cape Cod known for ice cream, and ate about as much of it as he could. The 0-2. Called strike 3. Jared Triolo at the plate goes down looking. And Nick Swan freezes up out number 2. Now a 2-way, Lynn on first base. Here's Spencer Brickhouse, the first baseman out of East Carolina. He steps up to the left-hand side of the plate, batting .323 on the CCBL season, 31 at-bats. Takes the first pitch strike. Again, Sandlin working in the changeup. Count 0-1. Runner on first is Lynn. 2 away. Sandlin trying to work quickly. Comes to the set and fires. Swinging strike 2. Proctor can't hold on to the ball, but no matter. Keeps it in front of him. Proctor's been a great defensive catcher so far on the season. Able to back it up with the bat as well. Serviceable, but really shines behind home plate as he's handled the staff well too. The 0-2 now. In the dirt. Curveball misses to bring the count to 1-2. So Brickhouse was a collegiate baseball freshman All-American this year at East Carolina, batting .310 in 197 at-bats. Riding a hot streak as well as Swan throws back over to first. 7 for his last 21 out here in the Cape. Jock up 2 RBI with that as well, and he's had himself a week. Now he looks down at 1-2. Swan still looking at the runner at first, but moves, and the pitch is hit on the ground over to Proctor at short, who goes the short way to Hunter Stovall at second for out number 3. So that's an FC for Spencer Brickhouse to end things, and just like that,
the Hyannis Harbor and the Bourne Braves,
we go to the third inning.
And the NCAA would like to remind you,
Bourne does not strand a runner on base, but on one hit,
additionally,
they turn things over to the Harbor Hawks. Chris Proctor, Jake Mangum, and Reese Hampton 2 up. The bottom and top of the order for Hyannis. When we get back, it's still a scoreless tie here in Durand Park in Bourne. Stick around. You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Welcome back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Chris Lucy joining you from Durand Park, where Hyannis and Bourne are still knotted at 0 going into the third inning. Kyle Marmon is back out for inning number 3 and already has 3 strikeouts to his name and only 2 innings of work. He'll get things started against Chris Proctor, the catcher, going into his junior year at Duke. Kyle Marmon just holding up his end of the bargain on the battle of the roommates going on right now, as Nick Swan, the pitcher for the Harbor Hawks, is not only on the same pitching staff as him at Florida Atlantic University, but they're roommates.
University, Chris Proctor.
So there's a little bit extra on the table for those two, as there's a little something on the table for the Harbor Hawks as well in this game. And Chris Proctor steps up. He'll stand in the left-handed batter's box. Merman to the set and deals. High and outside. Chris batting .263 on the CCBL season in 19 at-bats. Takes strike 1 at the knees, inside corner. Brings the count to 1-1. Marmon to the set, kicks and fires. Pitch that is sent in the air out to center field. It dinks in for a base hit. Chris Proctor rounds second as Hannah had a little bit of trouble fielding it out in center. Bobbled it, but the catcher stays up at first to lead off the third inning with a hit. Bringing up Jake Mangum, 0 for 1 on the day with a strikeout. Going into his senior year at Mississippi State University, he steps up to the left-handed batter's box against the righty Marmon with a runner on first. Still a scoreless tie here in Durand Park. Hyannis and the Braves doing battle. The pitch. Slapped high down the third base line, but foul. That one falls into a healthy crowd here in Bourne. Upwards of about 200 or so out here to see the Braves. It's a beautiful night for a ball game, albeit it's a Wednesday, but still sunny, nice and cool, not too hot. And just little billowy clouds in the sky. Nothing ominous. Just a good summer atmosphere for a ball game, as Marmon again throws down to first. Second time he has. Chris Proctor, however, sliding in head first both times. Marmon to the set. The righty stares down the lefty at the plate and deals. A pitch that's lined up the middle and through for a base hit. Chris Proctor rounding second. He'll go down to third. Hannah mishandles it out in center field. Jake Mangum turning around first. He's on his way to second. Going to third now. Chris Proctor comes in to score. as the ball finally gets into the infield, and we'll wait for the official scorer on that, but it would appear as though that's a single for Jake Mangum that just extended all the way into a triple. Again, we'll wait on the official score. I'll give him a 1B and then an E8. Center fielder Jameson Hanna having trouble fielding 2 consecutive plays out there. And just like that, Hyannis is on top 1-0. And Reese Hampton steps up to the plate, takes ball 1. 0 for 1 on the day is Hampton. He's playing center field, and the outfield definitely not the easiest place to be right now as the sun, although beautiful, the 1-0, high and tight for ball 2. The sun just enveloping the field in a beautiful golden light is definitely getting in the eyes of anybody who's just standing out in the field. It comes right from behind home plate, the 2-0. Just misses the inside corner at belt level. The fastball from Marmon, not up to the specs of Chris Godding behind home plate. And now Reese Hampton is ahead 3-0 with a runner on third base in Mangum. And there's a called strike low and inside. Mangum charging in on every pitch from third. He got over there on a single and an E8. That brought Chris Proctor around to score. It's 1-0 Hyannis here in the top of the third. And Reese Hampton fists one out into center field through for a base hit. Mangum scores easily. And now Hyannis leads 2-0 on the single from Reese Hampton.
Now batting, the third baseman number 12 from the University of Minnesota.
So it's a good situation for the Harbor Hawks, about as good as it could be. 3 hits to start things off in the third. 2 runs come across to score, and now Micah Coffey steps up. He's 1 for 1 on the day with a double. The third baseman out of Minnesota steps up to the left-handed batter's box. Runner on first base is Hampton. Hyannis in charge 2-0 as the first pitch comes in for a strike. Micah Coffey falling victim to the slider there. Now Marmon comes to the set. The 0-1, another slider and another strike. A lot of depth to that slider. Was told it came in at about a 12-4 kind of clip, and maybe bring that to about a 12-5 as Marmon throws over to first base. But definitely a tight break, although it doesn't break necessarily a ton. A very tight break that is deceptive and just subtle enough to sneak in for a strike. The 0-2, runner goes. Throw down to second base. Not in time. Tag applied on Hampton, but he slides in well in advance of the throw. Second stolen base of the day for the Harbor Hawks. Daniel Robinson had the first one in the second inning, and now Reese Hampton has one himself. He got on first with an RBI single, and now on the stolen base advances to second. Hyannis in charge 2-0 here in Durand Park. Micah Coffey looking down an 0-2 count. Nobody away. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Micah Coffey spun around by that slider again, and there's one away.
Go Hunter.
Hunter Stovall at the plate now, 0 for 1 today. Man in the middle, second base.
From Mississippi State University.
He can go anywhere up the middle, mainly in the field, but played most of his time out at Mississippi State this year at second, where he made many a highlight reel with those quick hands. Now he steps up with a runner on second and takes a called strike 1 in the right-handed batter's box. The strike coming over the inside corner. That one looked like the changeup. Reese Hampton out on second. His RBI single and then a steal. Got him out there. Hyannis leads 2-0 and a throw back to second base. Beans Reese Hampton, looks like in the upper body. Reese calls time and steps off just to walk off the beating. And Marmon's got a good arm. He can pump fastballs into the zone around 92 miles per hour, topping out around there, sitting in the low 90s. That one certainly not a fun one to wear. So it's a 1-1 count on Stovall. He steps back in the right-handed batter's box. The righty Marmon trying to silence a 2-run rally for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the third. Righty for Bourne kicks and deals a breaking pitch, which is swung over and missed for strike 2. 1-2 count on Stovall, as there was nothing he could do about that breaking pitch. Really just a ton of depth. Might have been the changeup. Here's the 1-2. Fastball, that one missing low and away, evening the count at 2-2. So Hunter Stovall, like many in the CCBL, comes from an athletic family. His cousin Tyler was drafted 80th overall in 2008 by the Atlanta Braves. The 2-2. Fisted foul down the first base line, out of play. Professional career, however, for Tyler Stovall didn't work out. He ended up going back to Auburn, where he had interest to play college baseball, and although his eligibility for that was up, he caught on with the football team and was the starting holder for the Auburn football team for years. The 2-2, high in sight. Tyler Stovall, a 27-year-old senior in 2016, but was able to man that starting holder spot for 3 years. So not a bad compromise. You get the professional ranks and also a little experience in college, as the 3-2 rides in for ball 4. Hunter Stovall picks up a walk, and there's runners on first and second with Daniel Robinson coming back up.
From Central Michigan University, Daniel Robinson.
Come on, Daniel.
So Daniel 1 for 1 on the day with a hit and a stolen base. He swaggers on up to the left-handed batter's box. Runners on first and second. Hyannis with only 1 out, in control, 2-0. Barman looks back the runner at second and deals. High and outside, ball 1. So D-Rob had an eventful off day. A rare one, as the Harbor Hawks lost 2 off days early on in the year, as now Jordan Tabachman comes out to have a word with Marmon. Tabachman, the pitching coach for the Braves. Marmon just struggling to keep his command, and you can't blame him, really, as Stovall, one who can really work counts. Something he's been working on this season in the CCBL, as he struck out 28 times and only walked 12 times at Mississippi State, but really has been impressive at the plate with his discipline. In a game against the Chatham A's, the latter half of that doubleheader, which keeps popping up, he gathered 3 walks in 1 game. A shortened 7-inning game, mind you. So Stovall refining his patience at the plate, and now the 1-0 to D-Rob. And they call it a ball, low and away. Count 2-0. So as I was saying, Robinson enjoying some fishing on his off day, a rare one, as the Harbor Hawks lost a lot of time early in the season due to rainouts. And now Marmon to the set. 2-0. Another ball low and inside. That one just at the knees, but not catching the eye of Gooding behind home. Now the 3-0 count. Marmon is a pitch away from loading the bases. And it looks like there's some action in the bullpen as well. And 3-0. High and outside for ball 4. So Daniel Robinson draws a walk to load the bases and brings up Robert Newstrom. Again, Newstrom not to be trifled with at home. He's been the most powerful hitter on the season for the Harbor Hawks. 2 home runs leading the team. And one of those homers coming against Bourne in the first game of that series, a solo shot. Steps up to the left-hand side of the plate. Bases jammed, 1 away. Takes a first pitch strike. Marmon trying to work himself out of a jam and see what bragging rights he can salvage in this matchup against his Florida Atlantic roommate. He's already behind 2-0. These Harbor Hawks piling it on early. The 0-1. Called strike over the outside corner. Count 0-2. And it seemed like revenge was in the air for the Harbor Hawks tonight as they went 0 for 2 in the beginning of the season series against the Braves. 2 tight games. The Harbor Hawks lost one 7-6 and the other 8-6. And the 0-2 rides in high. Count 1-2. The 7-6 loss, easily the most stinging, as the Harbor Hawks were able to claw back from 7-1 in the bottom of the 8th, but just could not get anything going in the top half of the 9th. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Marmon blowing a heater by Rob Newstrom.
Nobody.
And just like that, there's 2 away, and here's Ryan Olenek.
Come on, Ryan.
The Ole Miss product, 0 for 1 on the day, flew out to second base. Now he stands at the plate with the bases loaded, 2 away. Hyannis rallying here in the top of the 3rd. It's already 2-0. Pitch. Sent high in the air down the right field line. If it stays fair, it's trouble, but it hooks foul. Olenek putting good work on the ball early. However, it's 0-1. So Olenek has become somewhat of a character on this team. Every team kind of has their jokester that everyone plays off of. And at this point in the season, it's Olenek as he's sporting the summer stash, as he calls it, the summer ball stash. Become somewhat of a mascot for this team. The 0-1 rides in high and tight. 1-1. Had a little goatee going last night as well, but only there because he forgot to shave it. And now today he's going clean shaven minus the summer ball stash, the 1-1. Hit on the barrel of the bat, just blooping out into right field. Coming on to make a play is Williams from second. He can't get there. 1 run comes across to score, and just like that, Hyannis it looks like they're up 3-0. 4-0 is Hyannis, but a strange ruling on the field seems to have ended the inning. They plate 2 runners, but it looks like the hit from Olenek will be left on base. We'll have a little bit of an explanation for that when we return here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. But
with their support, they were able to preserve our
a 4-run rally for the Harbor Hawks ends in just a strange play. We'll be right back with
league officers in the entire family
recap when we return. We're back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. So, top of the 3rd ended interestingly. Ryan Olenek came up with the bases loaded and was able to squib out a single, but as 2 runs came across the plate, he thought he could squeeze out a double and was gunned out from right field by Witherspoon. So that ended the inning and now brings up Nick Swan to pitch the bottom of the 3rd. He starts off against Turner Brown, the sophomore from East Carolina. Brown steps up to the right-hand side of the plate, and the lefty deals low and inside. Again, Hyannis on top, 4-0 after the single from Olenek. A big top of the 3rd. And the 1-0 is cut on and missed. Brown with 28 at-bats on the season, batting .214. He clubs one over down towards short. Ford Proctor charges in, throws across the diamond, and on a hop, they get Brown for out number 1. Nice scoop down at first by Ryan Olenek.
Now batting the center fielder, number 12 from Dallas Baptist University, Jamison Hannah.
One away to start off the bottom of the third, and here's Jamison Hannah, the junior out of Dallas Baptist University. He steps up to the left side of the plate. Lefty on the mound, sets and deals. Hauled strike over the inside corner. Evokes groans from the Bourne dugout, but count remains 0-1. And the next pitch rides in low and inside. Count even at 1. So Hannah's had 30 at-bats on the CCBL season. Still below the Mendoza line at 167. And the 1-1. Again low and inside. That one in the dirt. Count 2-1. Coffey again playing in on the grass at third base. Middle infielder's on the outfield grass, and so is Olenek at first. And the next pitch is lined up the middle. And a forehand stab by Proctor up the middle. Throw down to first, not in time. It bounces and hits off the backside of Olenek as Hannah reaches with an infield single.
Now batting the third baseman, number 2 from Sam Houston State University.
So one on
Frigier.
with one out. Andrew Frigier comes back up. Junior out of Sam Houston, 0 for 1 today with a fly out to right field. Nick Swan in a groove with one out here in the third. There's only one aboard, and he has a 4-run cushion. Hyannis able to put up a 4 spot in the top of the third. Swan throws over to first base. Hannah flies in safely. Now Swan comes to the set again, moves to the plate. Outside. Fastball misses, and it's 1-0. So Swan throws again back to first base. Jameson Hannah sliding in again. Hannah with 2 stolen bases on the year, so somewhat of a threat to get going, but Frigier still at the plate waiting for the second pitch to come. He was third team All-Southland Conference down at Sam Houston this year. And the 1-0 is ball 2. And if there's anyone who's a stolen base threat, it's Frigier, as he has 14 steals in his college season this year. Batted .302 as well for Sam Houston. He has a 2-0 count. Runner on first, 1 away. The pitch, swing and a miss. Nick Swan fooling him on the changeup with the outside corner. And there's a 2-1 count. Sun still pouring over the field here at Durand Park. And the 2-1 forthcoming. Here goes. Ball 3, high and outside. Brings the count to 3-1. Everybody out on the field wearing sunglasses just to combat the sun. Ford Proctor putting his up on top of his head. I guess he's not really having too much trouble, although the sun is strong and it is coming right from behind home plate. Already caused Jameson Hannah to have some problems out in center field as he booted 2 balls. The 3-1. Sent on a line out to center field, and ranging in is Hampton. He can't get there in time, and it's a single. So after Swan was able to get an out to start things here in the third, he gives up consecutive hits. And there's runners on first and second with Grant Williams coming up. The senior from Kennesaw State is 1 for 1 on the day. He had a single with 2 outs in the first. Check that, a single with 1 out in the first, and was doubled off to end the inning. He stands in the left-handed batter's box. Runners on first and second. 1 away. Hyannis on top, 4-0. The pitch. Raking pitch just misses outside. The missed curveball brings the count to 1-0. Williams waving his bat through the zone. Now he comes up ready to go. Swan looking back, the runner at second, and deals a pitch that is roped foul down the right field line, out of play. Count 1-1. So Williams was first team all-conference in the A-Sun at Kennesaw State and was co-defensive player of the year, too. He was all A-Sun as a freshman as well, so no stranger to accolades, and usually a rack up a good deal of them if you get out here to the Cape, as the 1-1 bounces in for ball 2. Another curveball missing. And now after Nick Swan's roommate gets in trouble and gives up 4 runs in the top half of the third, the other part of that battery is struggling in the bottom half with runners on first and second, and his command escaping him as the 2-1 gets away from Chris Proctor at home and brings Jameson Hanna to third base standing up. Runners on the corners now. And Chris Proctor comes out from behind home to have a word. Grant Williams, pretty hot right now as well. He's on a 5-game hit streak. Make it 6 now, as he was able to string one along in the first. 8 for his last 16 at-bats. He's batting .500. Only 1 strikeout in that time frame as well in the 3-1. Cut on and fouled off home plate. Comes off the bill of his batting helmet and knocks it off. Doubly frustrating way to load the count with runners on first and third. Williams trying to chip away at a 4-0 Harbor Hawks lead here in the bottom half of the third. His home team Braves leading the Western Division. However, falling behind the last place team in the Western Division in the Harbor Hawks, as Hyannis looking to avenge 2 losses in the series that opened the competition between these 2 teams in the year. And now the payoff pitch from Swan. Runners on the corners. 1 out. Hit on the ground again. This one foul off the foot of Williams. He steps out of the batter's box and adjusts his batting gloves, trying to forget the just the pain in his foot. That front foot just taking it right on the toes. Scott Schreiber waits in the on-deck circle, and a bases-loaded situation with Schreiber would not sit well with the Harbor Hawks. He's killed Hyannis this year, and now Grant Williams steps out. Schreiber, although he grounded into a 6-4-3 double play in the first, he has 6 RBIs against the Harbor Hawks in 2 games coming into this contest. Now the payoff pitch. Clubbed high in the air out to center field. It's deep. It's chasing Hampton towards the right field gap. He, however, ranges over to make the play. Tagging up and scoring is Jameson Hanna. Andrew Freejay stays put on first base, and the sac fly from Grant Williams brings 2 outs, but finally brings the Braves to the board. It is 4-1 Hyannis.
Now batting, the left fielder, number 39, from the University of Nebraska, Scott Schreiber.
So the Tomahawk chalk music now fading out after the run comes across, and here's Scott Schreiber, the left fielder going into his senior year at Nebraska. Draws a mound visit from Coach Ray Korn, who wants to talk things over with his left-hander. So if there's anybody you want out there to talk pitching, it's got to be Ray Korn. Just a myriad of experience. And not only just managing pitchers, but managing people. He, for 30 years, was the athletic director at Elizabeth High School in Elizabeth, New Jersey, the largest high school in America. And during that time, he'd moonlight in the summer as a professional coach for the Chicago Cubs at times. He's been published in several scientific journals for just his knowledge of the biomechanics of pitching, as now he steps off and makes his way back towards the first base dugout. Nick Swan getting ready to face up Scott Schreiber. Schreiber selected in the 26th round of this year's draft, however, electing to go back to Nebraska. Takes a first pitch low. Count 1-0. So runner on first base, 2 away. Hyannis already has surrendered a run in this inning, looking to stop the bleeding there. It came on the sac fly from Williams that scored Hannah. Now the lefty deals, and the pitch is fouled off as the runner from first base takes off. Free J will have to make his way back to first, and it's 1-1. Schreiber, first team All Big Ten in both 2016 and 17. Led the Cornhuskers of Nebraska with a .330 batting average this year. He really is dangerous and has been dangerous against the Hawks as well, as the 1-1 is skied high down the right field line again. Brings Ryan Olenek over towards the first base dugout to try and make the play. And he gloves it for the final out of the inning. A rangy play from Olenek. And just like that, Hyannis ends the third. So a pair of hits and a sac fly drives in the first run of the game for the Braves. However, they trail 4-1 against these Hyannis Harbor Hawks going into the fourth. Ford Proctor, Chris Proctor, and Jake Mangum due up when we return. The bottom and top of the order when we get back. Stick around. You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Welcome back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Chris Lucy joining you from Durant Park, where the Harbor Hawks have already chased Kyle Marmon from the game. The right-hander for the Bourne Braves is done after
Ladies and gentlemen, attention please.
3 innings pitched.
Now
And
pitching for the
now
Braves,
there's a new pitcher
number
out
7
there. It is
from the University of Nebraska,
Luis Alvarado.
Alvarado.
He split closing duties
Leading
at
off
Nebraska
for
this
the
year
Harbor
and
Hawks is the shortstop number
comes
4
in at
for
6'4",
Rice
205
University,
pounds. His
Proctor.
only appearance of the CCBL season was a spotless 2-inning performance against the Harbor Hawks on June 23rd. 3 strikeouts, sparsed over 2 innings pitched, only 1 hit allowed. Ford Proctor squares him up at the moment. Ford 0 for 1 on the day. Harbor Hawks trying to build on a 4-1 lead in the top of the fourth. Proctor at the left-hand side against the righty, who deals ball 1 high and outside. So Alvarado, a native of Salinas, Puerto Rico, the 1-0. Slapped foul down the left field line, out of play. He was waiting there in the offseason this year when he found out he was drafted by the Mariners in the 13th round. The 1-1. Curveball misses. Count 2-1. So nothing new really for Alvarado. This is only the second time he was drafted. He was also picked in the 33rd round in 2014. The 2-1. Low and away. Count 3-1. Going two ways, he amassed 10 saves and also 12 doubles for Nebraska this year. 283 batting average and 15 strikeouts and only 7 walks in 16 games pitched. As Ford Proctor fouls one high down the left field line, loading the count at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Alvarado, no stranger to Ford Proctor's predicament at the plate, but also a great arm in his own right. The 3-2. Hit on a line through the gap on the right side and in for a base hit. Witherspoon fields on a hop out and right, throws in, and Ford Proctor steps up with a single.
Now batting, the catcher number 17.
Now he's followed up by Chris Proctor. Not related, but only strung together by the bottom half of the lineup right now. 2 Proctors in the 8 and 9 spot. Chris 1 for 1 today with a single. He came around to score 1 of 4 runs for the Harbor Hawks in the 3rd. Hyannis still leading by a score of 4-1. And the first pitch to Proctor drops in for a strike. Breaking pitch from the righty coming in on the hands of the lefty. Ford Proctor now leading off of first base, held on by Brickhouse. And the first pitch is grounded down the right side. Brickhouse looks over to second, but decides to step on first to get the easy out.
Now batting, the left fielder number 1 for Mississippi State University.
1 away in the top of the 4th,
Mangum.
and Jake Mangum steps up. The left fielder out of Mississippi State, 1 for 2 with a strikeout and a single. Also came around to score in that big top of the 3rd that has put Hyannis out top 4-1. The Braves able to counter with a run of their own in the bottom half of the 3rd, but Hyannis still ahead and with a runner on second base and Proctor. And the first pitch to Mangum is another breaking pitch that misses low and away. Count 1-0. Reese Hampton waiting in the on-deck circle. One of the leading hitters in the Western Division. Already 1 for 2 on the day is Hampton. Now Mangum at the left-hand side of the plate. The righty kicks and deals. A pitch that's grounded up the middle. Williams gobbles it up and throws down to first to get the easy out as Proctor advances to 3rd.
Now batting, the center fielder number 8 from the University of North Carolina.
So Proctor led off the inning with a hit, and since then Alvarado has been able to just get 2 quick outs.
Not Reese.
However, Reese Hampton, no easy task to get down. Coming into this game, batting in excess of 400. He steps up to the left-hand side of the plate against the righty with a runner on 3rd. Hyannis threatening to put another run on. And the first pitch loops out of the zone for ball 1. Curveball missing. Count 1-0 on Hampton. Infielders up the middle playing on the grass on the outfield. And the first pitch is lined right down to 3rd base where Free-J ranges in towards shortstop and snares it on a line for the final out of the inning.
Lead corporate sponsors. We also want to recognize and thank Franklin Sports, Advanced Embroidery, Cape Destination.
So a leadoff hit is left on base. Ford Proctor advancing all the way over 3rd, but after the Harbor Hawks are able to put him on, the next 3 come up and come down.
TSA, Rawlings, Cape Cod Chamber of
And
Commerce,
now onto the bottom of the 4th. Grant
Corporate,
Witherspoon, Lyle Lynn,
Atlantic
and
Sports,
Jared Triolo
Sports
to up the 4, 5, and 6 of the Harbor Hawks order when we come back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Don't go anywhere. Your Hyannis Harbor Hawks lead 4-1 here in Durand Park. Welcome back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Chris Lucy joining you from Durand Park, where the Hyannis Harbor Hawks lead 4-1 over the Bourne Braves. It's a Western Division matchup. And Nick Swan back out to start things at the bottom of the fourth. He squares up Grant Witherspoon, 0 for 1 on the day. Right fielder from Tulane stepping up, and Nick Swan, just for getting this far, has easily secured bragging rights over his FAU roommate Kyle Marmon, who started things off for the Braves and put them behind 4-1. First pitch from Swan to Witherspoon is a strike. Fastball on the outside corner. We're underway here in the fourth. Another fastball, another strike. Swan spotting up. Swan had only come out of the pen to start things off in the CCBL season as Witherspoon calls time. Regardless, performing well deep into this game, and now the 0-2. In the dirt, brings the count to 1-2. The kind of performance the Harbor Hawks needed after just exhausting the bullpen over the last couple days. Namely last night, too, as Coach Gassman and I were speaking earlier today. The 1-2. High in sight. Count now 2-2.
Come on, Nick.
Swan, of course, a very lively arm, but was just the only one available for the Harbor Hawks today, the 2-2. In the dirt. Witherspoon hanging in there after going down 0-2, and now the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Gassman really needed a big performance today out of Swan, and so far has gotten it. The payoff pitch now. Called strike 3. And the changeup from Swan freezes up Witherspoon for the first out of the fourth.
Now batting. He touched number 28 from Arizona State University, Lyle
The junior
Lynn.
from Tulane goes down looking, and now Lyle Lynn steps up. 1 for 1 on the day with a single. But first, Chad Gassman comes out of the dugout, and that's all he needs out of Nick Swan. The lefty now coming out of the game after 3 1/3 innings of solid work. We'll be right back after a quick break with a little bit more on the reliever coming in for the Harbor Hawks. Stick around. Hyannis on top 4-1. Welcome back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Chris Lucy joining you as Nick Swan is done, and now Chase Hyannis starts his CCBL career. Swan pitched valiantly in 3 1/3 innings for the Harbor Hawks, taking them to a 4-1 lead. He only allowed the 1 run with 2 strikeouts and no walks on 4 hits. Now brings Chase Hyannis to the mound for his first game of CCBL action. Went 3-2 for Florida State this year. 4.26 ERA in 31 2/3 innings pitched.
Number 35.
He stands at a stocky 6'6" and 225 pounds. He'll square up Lyle Lynn to get things going. Nobody on, 1 out. Nick Swan done after 51 pitches, which is a reasonable amount of pitches to expect a guy to throw out here in just summer ball. Lyle Lynn at the right-hand side. Chase Haney, a righty. Sidewinder. Pitch is low and away for ball one. Getting our first look at Haney today. Showed up just last night. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Called strike one. And Haney with a very deceptive herky-jerky movement towards the plate. Very violent with his elbow. Low to the ground as well as he throws the 1-1, and it's cut on and hacked high in the air towards left. Jake Mangum ranging towards right center field makes the play for out number 2. Jared Triolo comes to the plate now. The designated hitter out of Sam Houston, 0 for 1 today with a strikeout.
Now batting, the designated hitter number 15.
Went down looking in the bottom of the second. Nobody on, 2 away. Chase Haney in his CCBL debut gets his first out pretty easily. Middle infielders on the outfield grass, and Ryan Olenek playing down the line at first. Called strike one on Triolo as Micah Coffey just playing it straight away at third base. Outfielder straight away as well. A little bit of wind picking up here. Hyannis on top, 4-1, and the 0-1 is another called strike as looks like Bourne is having just a bit of trouble keeping track of Chase Haney's motion, which is incredibly deceptive. Just a very violent motion with the arm. He gets low to the ground, too. Almost underhands it as the 0-2 rides in high for ball one, high and away. The wind blowing out here at Durand Park as the flag exhibits out in center field. 395 out to that flag, and the 1-2. High and outside. Count 2-2. Now Haney to the set again. 2-2 count, nobody on, 2 away. The pitch. Clubbed high in the air up the middle infield. Ford Proctor backpedals to the outfield grass and makes the catch for out number 3. So Chase Haney, 2/3 of an inning hit through his CCBL career. And just like that, there's nobody on, nobody out, and
Healthcare is the largest
a fresh slate in the top of the 5th. Reese Hampton, Micah Coffey, and Hunter Stovall coming to the plate, the 2, 3, and 4 when we get back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Stick around. Hyannis leads 4-1. Welcome back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Luis Alvarado back out to handle things in the top half of the 5th. Hyannis on top 4-1. Micah Coffey at the plate, 1 for 2 today. Takes a called strike one on the outside corner. Raking pitch. 0-1 count. Alvarado to the set. Righty kicks and deals. High and away. 1-1 count. Here's the 1-1. And the Minnesota product skies it high in the air out towards right. Schreiber originally tracks over to his right, but has to make a two-step over to his left to make the play. One away in the top of the
Now
fifth.
batting the second baseman, number 2, from Mississippi State University, Hunter Stovall.
Hunter Stovall coming up now. 0 for 1 on the day with a strikeout and a walk. However, he came around to score in that walk in the third, and it's part of the reason why the Harbor Hawks are up 4-1. He stands at the right-hand side. The righty deals. Breaking ball for a strike. That slider just dipping into the zone. No chance for Stovall on that one. He's down 0-1, and here comes the next pitch. It's in on the hands and grounded weakly up towards second. Williams charges in, throws across his body down to first, and